Hey, real estate agents, welcome to the Weekly Closer. I'm your host, Jeff Underwood, along with my co-host, Joey Sampaga. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing all right, Jeff. How are you, man?
Good, good. Hey, we have an exciting guest with us in the house. We're actually going to talk a little bit about being a mom, not me, of course, but our guest talking about being a mom and a full-time realtor, and then also how she's getting business from her sphere of influence. So welcome back, Dawn Forkenbrock, the Forkenbrock Group, realtor with eXp Realty. How you doing, Dawn?
I'm great. And I love your radio voice. It's inspiring me to raise my voice. So I have a good radio voice too. How is that?
There you go. Yeah, I've heard that a few times. Maybe I should do a radio show or something.
Should.
Totally.
A podcast or something.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe a podcast.
Oh, wait. Yeah, a podcast. No. Well, thank you for coming back again. I know we had you in the studio. Gosh, it's been a while back. So
pre-COVID.
Looking forward to getting caught up. Why don't you share with the agents that are watching or listening how long you've been in real estate and what got you into it?
I've been in real estate for 8 years and I left a banking job, pretty good banking job after I had my first son. I did go back for 3 months after taking a pretty long leave of absence. But it was just too hard, the corporate world, and being away from the kid or the one kid at the time. So it was actually my husband that after about 9 months went by, I had another kid. So now I've got 2 little ones at home and I'm like, I am not a stay-at-home mom. Like it is just not for me. I wasn't happy. I needed to have something outside of the home. And it was actually my husband that said, what about real estate? You know, you used to talk about that, but you weren't allowed to get your license because you worked for a bank. It was a conflict of interest. And so I'm like, yeah, I want to get into real estate. And now I'm like remembering the timeline incorrectly. And it's because of mom brain. But so I got into real estate and actually passed my test 2 weeks before my second was born. That's how it went.
Okay.
I just didn't start working right away when she was a little baby.
Got it. Well, you did mention before we actually went on air that you had fuzzy brain in the morning and your voice was kind of low. And, so, yeah, I mean, it's all part of being a mom, right?
Totally. Like it's almost noon and I sound like and feel like I just rolled out of bed, even though I've been out of bed since 6 a.m. But I was up till midnight. My baby woke up at 3. But you know what? That's real life. This is part of being a working mother.
Sure.
So what's the toughest thing to balance the two?
Ooh, that is a really good question. I feel like I'm constantly saying I don't have enough time. It's always time. And we're never going to have more time. Like it's just reality. So I think just coming up with a schedule and at least trying to stick with maybe 75% or 80% of that schedule and feel good at the end of the day that you got done that 75%, because a lot of the hard parts of this business is mindset.
Sure.
Because you've got the mom guilt. I struggle with this. And, you feel bad when you're working because you should be with the kids or doing something around the house for the family. But then when you're vice versa. When you're with the kids, you're thinking, I should be working on my business because I need to make money. And so it's that constant back and forth. But I think if we can just come up with some sort of schedule that you're able to hit on all the points you want to hit on, and you get 75% of that done, that's a win.
Yeah. Now, with real estate, of course, it's flexible, right? Kind of. Because when you're working with a buyer, then you have to take your buyer out and you drive and you have to kind of work off of their schedule. I mean, how do you go about trying to schedule all that? Do you have a buyer's agent? Do you have, do you do things all on your own, or what's the deal there?
Yeah. And that's one thing I'm always honest with other agents about. Like, you cannot do it by yourself. Like, let's be real. Like, you see things on Instagram or, social media and you think, oh, this person's amazing. She does it all. And honestly, that drives me crazy when people are like, you're superwoman. And I'm like, I'm not superwoman. I have a ton of people that help me in my life and my business. And I am very fortunate to have a very supportive husband that he doesn't work a lot. Like, let's be honest, like, I am out there working full time. He's with the 2 little ones. We have a 2-year-old and a 4-month-old at home.
Oh, wow.
And We have a nanny and she's only part-time. She comes 3 days a week and only for 6 hours. So, it's like you said, it's flexible, but it's constant juggling. Like, hey, you go do this. And then we've got 2 older ones in school. So who's picking up the kids from school? Who's taking, my daughter to dance, tumbling? Like every week is different. And it's just, so I don't have like a set thing that happens every week. Cause like you said, sometimes maybe a seller can't meet until the evening.
Yeah.
Or a buyer is only in town on these 2 specific days. So you just have to juggle it and you make it work. But I definitely think having a support system is very important. And even for like single mothers, they don't have that spouse. So maybe finding like that nanny or that friend or family member that can help support them.
Yeah, definitely. We've had, I don't know how many agents, Joey, over the years that we've been doing this, that have said they decided to get a real estate license. And one of the things they thought was, I'm going to get more time. I'm going to be able to make my own schedule.
Right. Yeah.
And it ends up the opposite, right? Because we need to be there for the clients.
It's the successful ones, they work it. So
yeah, they make it work. Yeah. We just, I guess it seems like a lot of really successful agents are starting to use, having like a showing agent involved.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you thinking that way, or do you use that?
Absolutely. Yes. And, at the beginning, I didn't. I was doing everything. And as my business progressed, it's like, this is impossible. I mean, people wanted to look in Goodyear and then like the same day go look in Florence. And that's like 2 hours.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
So I just couldn't do it by myself. So I did start with showing agents that weren't necessarily on my team, but they were at the same office. So they were able to help.
Sure.
And then I actually formed a team just over a year ago. So I have 2 agents on my team now. And so if I ever do need help with showings, then they're able to take that on. And that way the client feels good too. Like it's the same team helping them.
Okay.
Even if, one Saturday, Brianne showing a house, and then Monday I'm showing them a house. We're all work together.
So I'm curious, and you can share it or not. What's your pay structure there? What do you offer them when they do show it? And let's say the person that does end up buying.
Yeah. So it just depends on the situation. So sometimes that agent is 100% in charge of all the showings. So they're going to get a higher percentage. So they get a percentage of the commission.
Okay.
Other times I might say, hey, like I've been showing them homes for 6 months.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to still do the showings, but I do need help this one day because I'm out of town or maybe my son has a football game. So then it's a lower percentage if they end up buying a home they show. And then they also get an hourly rate on top of that, including drive time.
Okay.
I think it's kind of a must anymore, especially, having a family, right? It's probably a must to have someone that you can call on when needed. I know one time I was doing a road trip. I was headed back to Missouri here from Arizona. And I worked out something with one of the guys at the office, to be able to show properties. Because it just happens that way, right? As soon as you leave town, all of a sudden you're getting these calls. Hey, I want to go see these houses. And you're like, oh, man.
It never fails. Every time you go on vacation, something happens. Like somebody wants to write an offer or sell their house or whatever.
No.
Yeah. I think what I did is a per house type deal with this young gentleman. And so it added up to a certain amount because he showed so many different houses. And I paid out even if they didn't choose one of the ones he showed, just because I felt like
time.
I mean, that was his time,
Right.
So,
Absolutely.
But it definitely helped.
Yeah.
So are you hoping that or planning for your children to get in real estate?
They already are.
They are.
We're putting them on payroll this year. My 2 oldest have done like videos for my social media, like with a market update or hey, if you want to buy or sell a house, call my mom. Here's her phone number. And then they say the phone number.
Nice.
It's super cute. There are times, and that's another thing about being a working realtor. There are times my kids come with me and it's not ideal. And it depends who the client is. Like, obviously I'm not going to take them with me with every client, but if it's like my friend who has kids and the kids are friends with my kid,
sure.
That would be a situation I'd feel comfortable asking if they mind if they come with come with to go look at homes or whatnot. So when that happens, they're in charge of finding the lockbox so I can open it. And then they're in charge of when we go inside, they go through the home quickly and turn all the lights on. And then when we're leaving, they turn the lights off.
Oh, I bet you have a process already.
Yeah. One fun thing that we did when my two oldest were a little younger, I had to take them on a home inspection. I don't remember the situation, if maybe like our babysitter called out or I don't remember, but it was not planned for me to take them. And I'm like, oh, great. I think they were like 4 and 6. So not ideal at all. So what I did is I created an inspection checklist with different words on it that they had to listen to the home inspector. And once the inspector would say the word, they would check it off. So they were quiet.
Wow.
He had a clipboard. It was so cute.
That's brilliant.
Yeah. And at the end, the inspector was done and he's like looking at the list and there were a couple words he hadn't said. So then he just said a sentence to make him fit. It was awesome. I felt like
a great idea.
Mom. I felt like, wow, I'm so smart today.
No, that's awesome.
That's a great idea. Oh, you know what? We forgot to give a big shout out to Susan Cunningham.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
she asked you to get in here, right?
Yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah, she's amazing.
We got to get her in here. She's so bubbly.
She's got the best personality for this type of thing.
She does.
And her energy is so contagious. She always
we definitely be awake when she's here.
Coffee.
That's funny. So what other things, Don, do you think that are, important, I guess, for any working mom that's trying to juggle the real estate world right now? I mean, there's a lot going on. I know the last 2 years have been totally hectic. But now into 2023, with where we sit in the market right now, I mean, what are some pointers that you would give definitely for moms that are real estate agents?
I think in any market, it's just important to know like there's no secret sauce. Mm-hmm. And somebody said this once, and it really stuck with me, that you can be the best. You can be the best realtor. You can be the best mother, the best wife, but you can't be it all at the same time. And again, it goes back to mindset and not beating yourself up over things. Like there are days I feel awful. I didn't see my kids very much, but on the flip side, I got a new client and maybe got a buyer under contract. So I was a badass realtor that day. Don't feel like the best mom. But then the next day, it's completely opposite. And we're playing games at the table at night and spending time together. And I'm like, oh, I'm the best mom. I did nothing for my business today, and that's okay. And we have to be okay with that. I wish when I started in the business, somebody would have told me that, because I went through so many years of just having like guilt or beating myself up, feeling like I'm not good enough. And so
does having a team kind of alleviate a little bit of the problems, those issues, the time constraints?
Some of it, yeah.
Okay.
Also, a big part of my team is mentorship and helping these girls build their own business and be successful. And so it takes some of my time too, but it's different. And I really do enjoy that. It's so rewarding when they succeed at something, or, you have the ones that are so eager to learn and coachable and appreciate your help. And it feels great. I love doing that.
And you probably have a coordinator, a transaction coordinator.
I do.
Do you have an assistant or?
I do.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Both of them, different people. And that's the other thing is, as your business grows, it's important to add that support. The first person I added was a transaction coordinator, and I was so resistant because I was like, I am not paying them per transaction because I'm doing the math, times X amount of transactions is thousands of dollars a year. No way. But once I got one, oh my gosh, I'm like, why didn't I do this like 4 years ago? It just freed up so much time, because as realtors, we should not be sitting there at night
doing paperwork,
putting signatures on a piece of, on the line. I mean, that's just ridiculous. We shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah, totally agree.
Definitely start off if you're an agent who's working by yourself. I definitely start off with the transaction coordinator. And then as your business starts to grow, then you look into an assistant. So I'm curious, at what point did you say, you know what, I need more than a transaction coordinator. I need an actual assistant to to help me free them up, because now you have to pay your transaction coordinator and your assistant. I mean, at what point do you say, okay, it's time?
I felt like at that time, like I'm making good money and I have a successful business. The thing that really started it is I love sending out mail to people, like handwritten cards and putting that personal touch on things. And it's like, I should not be sitting here putting stamps and labels on envelopes. Mm-hmm. It's just taking forever. And that is another thing my kids used to help me with, but then it was crooked and I didn't like it. I felt like I looked unprofessional, you know? And so that was the first thing that I had an assistant help with is, you know, putting these stamps and labels and licking envelopes. Like, I didn't abuse her, you know, so we got like one of those singamajigs. Yeah. So she's not going to die like the Seinfeld episode, right?
Like the Seinfeld. That's what I was thinking.
So that was the first thing. Cause I was like, again, it goes back to putting signatures on papers. Like I should not be spending my time putting stamps on envelopes and go to the post office and stuff. So she started by just doing that stuff and that freed up hours. Hours. Like I should be helping people and making phone calls and, you know, trying to get new business and getting buyers for my listings, not that stuff.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. How about, let's talk about getting referrals from your sphere. What types of things are you doing right now to get the business?
So I feel like when people say I have a referral based business, it's my sphere, you know, so many new agents are like, I'm not going to ask for business and I don't have a lot of people. And I just think they just need to be themselves. And that's how I've always been. It's like, I do know a lot of people, but I'm also open-minded to meet new people and keep in touch with them. Mm-hmm. You know, if I meet somebody new and we click, I'm going to friend them on Facebook and I'm going to follow them on Instagram. I'm not going to say, do you need to sell a house? Mm-hmm. Like, I don't, you know, that's not how I work. I just want to build relationships with people and keep them and keep in touch with them. And so I'm very consistent about that. Even if it's just a text that's like, hey, I just drove by your neighborhood. I thought of you. How are you? Like, I'm always going to just want to check in with them and see how they're doing.
Mm-hmm. So how do you subtly let them know that you are an agent?
I feel like social media is so big for that. Almost everybody in my sphere is on social media, almost. Yeah. And so I do post things about business on there. And I think that's subtle because I don't think I'm annoying about it. So if anyone listening, it says opposite and I post too much business on my social media, let me know. But, you know, I try to mix it where,
do you have a percentage of how much? Okay. You just kind of whatever you put out there, put out there.
I put a lot of the same stuff on Instagram and Facebook. So I do look at my Instagram grid before doing a post because I'm not going to post the exact same thing. I'm not going to say I sold a house and then 2 hours later, I sold a house. I sold a house. Like nobody cares about that. However, you do need to put that on there too. Yes. So people know that you know how to sell a house.
Yeah.
But I am mindful of what I've been posting. So it has a nice mix, but there's no formula.
Okay. And I'm curious, what types of other things do you post up there? Do you do educational pieces? Do you do, you know, what types of posts do you put on?
I do educational around real estate. I'll put testimonials. I do home sold. I'll do a home tour, like a little reel with a video with music on there. I like to tell stories like, hey, this happened. Market updates are important, but that's another one you don't want to do too much because blah, 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 blah. You know, people are going wah, wah, wah.
That's right.
Yeah. Have you thought of, I don't know where I heard this. I don't think it was during one of our episodes, Joey. But I remember hearing a realtor talk about how as a mom, she started a mom's group and what was it called? It was called Moms and Mimosas.
Oh yeah, it was one.
I've heard that. I wonder who that was.
Have you heard that somewhere?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was actually on our show and I can't remember. It was a long time ago.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah, moms. And
Anyway, I just remember that with the whole moms thing, and I remember her saying that it was, you know, really successful as far as like just keeping in contact with the right, you know, with the right sphere, right? And it's something different. It's not the same as what everybody else is doing out there. So I don't know. Might be something. I don't know if you drink mimosas or not, but
I probably do coffee because I would be sleeping if I did the mimosas. I would go home and take a nap.
There you go.
But that's a great idea.
Anyway, so what are you doing to stay in front? So I know the social media thing, and you're most likely using your personal account, right? Not like a business page or anything like that.
I do both. Business, I say it's more boring. Like I don't put pictures of my kids on it. I think the business is good for people that are Googling you, or maybe agents from other states that want to see, is this somebody I want to refer my client to? So I do think it's important to have both. But when it comes to like engagement and, sphere-based stuff, you want to use personal, in my opinion. My Instagram is a business page, but I do everything on there. I don't have 2 Instagram accounts.
You haven't jumped onto TikTok yet?
I am on TikTok.
Oh, you are?
Actually, I don't post a whole lot.
Okay.
I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm learning.
Don't ask me.
I want to learn.
Tickety talk, so I have no clue.
How about YouTube?
Yes, I do post a lot on YouTube.
Okay. You doing shorts or you just doing regular type videos?
That's a great question. So if the video's short, I do a short. If it's not short, I do a regular post.
Okay.
I feel like YouTube is one of those things. It's like a foreign language you're constantly trying to figure out. And
they change things all the time.
Yeah. And so I definitely don't say I know what I'm doing on YouTube, but I try to keep up with what has to happen and make changes as needed. But I'm still not getting like the views I wish I would. But I do feel like it's one of those things you need to be consistent with. And there's going to be one day that YouTube is going to go, Dawn's been really consistent. We're going to give her 100,000 views. And now her channel has 1 million subscribers.
There you go.
There you go.
Making money from YouTube.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of people, there's a lot of debate out there. Do you take your reel that you share on Facebook or on Instagram, do you take that same video and then post it on the YouTube shorts, right? Are you doing that or?
Sometimes I am. It just depends what it is. Cause sometimes I'm doing a video and it's like, it's silly, like me dancing with my son the other night. I'm not going to put that on YouTube. My YouTube is more business type stuff, like local things or real estate education. I'm not going to put a picture or a video of dancing with my son on there.
Yeah.
That makes
All right. Yeah. How about, are you using a CRM to send out things to your database on a regular basis?
So I use a CRM at EXP. We are given KV Core for free, which is
a good one.
CRM. But when it comes to sending out things, I'm not really using that. I use Flowdesk. So I have a newsletter template in there and it just gets changed every month. And that's how I'm sending them an email.
Oh, okay.
Do you see that people respond to some of those emails?
Not often. But you can see that people are opening them. It tracks that for you. And what is so interesting to me is the majority of the people are using their desktop and not their mobile device.
Really?
My sphere. Yeah. It's
using their desktop.
Yeah.
That's
their computers instead. So, but it is nice to see that, however many people are opening it. I usually get like half of the people. I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty darn
for
good.
Like 2,500 people in there.
Yeah, well, maybe I don't know what your newsletter looks like, but maybe they just like to read it on the desktop better.
That's true. Yeah.
So
that makes sense. What would you say the age group is mostly in 30s, 40s?
So I feel like I have 2 segments. Like I have families that maybe are, like you said, in their 30s, but then I also have some seniors that would be over 60, like a pretty big group.
Okay.
Got it. What other things do you want to make sure that the agents that are listening or watching know about Dawn and how to be mom and realtor?
Super mom.
Well, I've mentioned mindset several times, so I won't go over that again. Just don't beat yourself up. But be consistent. Like, not everybody's business is going to look the same and there's no right way to do it. Like not everybody does open houses. Not everybody cold calls. Not everybody has a sphere of influence they market to. And that's okay. You don't have to do it like me. You don't have to do it like other people, but find what you like to do and keep doing it. And you will see results, but you have to be consistent. You can't do an open house twice a month for 3 months and go, I didn't get a lot of business. You know, if you're going to do open houses, you needed to do multiple every week for years.
Sure.
And you will get a lot of business from that, but you have to be consistent with it. I am like a Google Calendar queen. Like everything is scheduled. So when you ask me about social media posts, they are all scheduled out. Like I know exactly what I'm posting every day. And then I fill it in with the personal stuff, like me and my son dancing in the kitchen, you know?
There you go.
But you have to do that. Otherwise you sit there and you're like, what am I supposed to do today? I don't know what to do. But if you are tracking everything and you come up with a consistent routine, you're going to know exactly what to do every day. And then you're going to say, I don't have enough time, which is fine. Do 75% and you did great.
So do you have a program that you use to schedule out your posts?
So I just started using Facebook, actually just started a scheduler where on the business side, it will post on your business Facebook and your Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
So that I started using for some of the more businessy posts, like the educational or local type posts.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other ones, like maybe quotes or just like fun type things we fill in. And I say we because my assistant helps me with that. So she's in charge of some of the ones that are consistent, like every Tuesday is a testimonial.
Mm-hmm.
Every Monday is a market update. So she's updating the stats. We have a template for what that post looks like. And then she's plugging in those stats and she's doing the post.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Because again, like social media is important, but that's not my main job. I need to know how to do it because I need to be able to market my listings, but I shouldn't be on there for 3 hours creating things. Like it's just, it gets to be too much. And that's the other thing too, is like, come up with templates in maybe Canva, like maybe 5 different templates and then plug in different information. So you're not starting from scratch every time you want to do a post. Like you got to simplify things, put in the time, and maybe you do need to pay somebody if you're not good at that. Like, and that's what I did. I'm not good at that stuff. I don't know how to make graphics and all that. So I paid somebody, I paid her $400 and she gave me probably 15 different templates.
Oh, wow.
So my assistant has access. I have access. So I'm like, hey, I want to post about what do you need to know when you buy a new build? So we've got the content and then we just plug it into one of the templates and.
No, that's smart.
Yeah. So it's a lot faster. And then your branding matches, everything looks pretty on your Instagram. So definitely recommend doing that to simplify things and keep it consistent.
Oh,
awesome. Great tips.
Yeah.
Are you ready to get in the ring?
Oh, what is this? I better take water.
Yeah, just some rapid fire questions at the end.
Ooh, okay.
Easy stuff. Easy stuff. First, we need to give a big shout out to Security Title Agency and Fidelity National Home Warranty for sponsoring the show. If you haven't given them a try, make sure you do it.
Yep.
All right, you ready?
All right, I'm ready.
Let's do it.
Here we go. What do you think the reason is that many agents are not successful?
They're not consistent.
Consistency.
Absolutely. How about pizza or cheeseburger?
Ooh, cheeseburger.
You know they have cheeseburger pizzas now, right?
Oh.
Yes.
I
don't know if that sounds as good.
The topping of the pizza are cheeseburgers. Stuff.
Oh, weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they just crumble the hamburger up on there or something?
Yeah, they crumble up hamburger and then they put, some pickles and, whatever they put on hamburgers.
All right. How about favorite restaurant or type of food?
Chipotle.
Ah, yes.
I'm heading there next.
Wow, that actually sounds really good.
I can't believe how expensive their stock is. It's like through the roof.
Really?
Well, let me share a little secret on that. Might not be for you, but for some people that don't need like a huge bowl, I get a kid's meal and it comes with 2 tacos, a meat, and 2 sides. And it's $5.55 with tax. And it comes with a drink.
Wow. Okay.
So you get it through. So you just order it and walk out, or what?
No,
they don't say, "Where's the kid?"
No, never. I've never had anybody turn me down.
No, that's awesome. So 2 tacos,
a meat, 2 sides, and they're usually nice because I always ask for an extra side on the side. They're not supposed to, but
they gave it to you.
99% of the time they do. And then I get guacamole because seriously, why are you going to go to Chipotle and not get guacamole?
Yeah, that's really good guacamole too.
That's a great tip.
It's like $8 with the guac.
Okay.
Huh. Oh, that's a great tip.
Yeah.
How about your favorite activity outside of work?
Oh, favorite activity? Oh my
Outside of work, yeah.
That's so hard. Like, what else do I do besides work and have, be
Someone
with my family?
Someone says work.
Yeah.
Outside
right.
of work.
I like hanging out with the family, and like we like playing games, and I play piano.
Oh, okay.
So if I'm able to, I like to practice. Don't as much
there you
as I used to, but I do enjoy that.
So old school games like board games or like electronic games on
Oh no,
big
no.
screen?
I
Board
hate
games.
video games.
What's your favorite board game?
Oh, my favorite?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so hard. There's
really? So many?
Right now we've been playing it's called Farkle.
Oh yeah.
Dice
You
game.
roll the dice.
Yeah, and that we didn't know what it was, but my son used his birthday or Christmas money to get it, and it's so fun.
Oh, okay.
So we've been playing that. We also like a couple different card games.
Okay. Yeah,
That's awesome.
Rummy Cube lately.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, that's
I like that one.
Thinking one.
I feel like we go through phases where we just play like the same two games all the time.
Yeah,
and
that's
then we
right.
Switch. We have a lot of games.
Okay.
All right. Final question. How about your favorite vacation destination?
Oh, hands down, it's Cancun with no children.
Yes.
Asterisk.
Adults only.
Children.
Yeah. We have been there, I don't even know how many times, more than 10 times. It's like our spot. We love going.
Okay. So I'm going to give you our favorite, my wife and I's favorite.
Okay.
So it's off the coast of Cancun. Have you been to the island Isla Mujeres?
Oh, of course. How can you go to Cancun and not go that? And it's Isla Mujeres.
Yes.
Isla, yeah. I have a hard time. My wife says it different to me.
Is Hispanic, or she's Mexican, right?
What's
Well,
that?
she doesn't speak Spanish, does she? Terry.
No.
Oh.
No, she didn't learn Spanish for some reason.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's our favorite spot. We like to go there. Last year, I think we spent 2 weeks on that little island.
We actually stayed there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, see, we've never stayed there. We just take the ferry and spend the day.
No, we just wanted to get away. And so 2 weeks on just the island. My wife does all the research. She finds all the little, hole in the wall restaurants that we need to go to and everything. So it was a great little lazy trip. I like getting the golf cart and going all around and
that water, it is like paradise. It is blue, blue, blue. It's like the Corona commercial, I always say. The Corona beer.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It is so beautiful, and it just feels amazing when you're in it. It's like the temperature's perfect.
Wow.
Yeah. No, it's awesome. Well, thanks, Dawn, for being in here and sharing your experience.
Oh, thanks for having me.
That's awesome.
Absolutely. We truly appreciate it. And I'm sure that you gave a lot of great insight to being a realtor and a mom. So hopefully agents that are watching, listening, got some ideas from that for sure.
I hope so.
Yes. All right. Hey, agents, until next time, we will see you later. Adios.